Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you are at the 3D stage, you may want to watch this video. If you are just choosing to do a 3D version, you're going to need glue stick, a pair of scissors, and another separate sheet of graph paper. You're going to want to read your units on both your length and your width, as well as your height. When I am doing this, I'm going to go, oh, it is 4 across, so I need to count over 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and it is 4 deep, so I'm going to need to count across 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, from my base that I'm going to use. So if I were to highlight that for you, I've got my initial base. These are not full pieces, so I'm not going to use them. Is 4 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 deep, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is just for this one side. Now I need to go that it is 4 deep this way, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and additionally 4 deep down again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I'm talking about it is 4 across in this spot. It is a height of 4, so I have to go up 4. Some of you guys only have a height of 2, a height of 3, height of 5, all those different things. That would be your first base here. So I'm going to go ahead and write the word height. It is upside down for you, but it is correct for me. So height is here. Then you will have this layer that is next. This is your base top, your roof. And then you will have your other height down side of your building. Again, this is only if you are going to cut it out in a format of my loop, as I did in my initial example for you guys, like so. Notice that I do have a little tab bit so that I can glue it onto my thing. So it works out perfectly because I have a shape that is not a full square, so I can just go ahead and cut it along that line and make it so that I've got a folding section as well that I can glue to my paper. So when I cut this out, I'm going to make sure it's 4 by 4 across because that is my units. And I also have a bit that I can fold and glue down. So when I fold this and glue it down, I can fold it inwards and I can have my folds on the inside. But notice when I do that, I am covering up my A. So if you are doing that, you're going to have to rewrite your A on top of this little flap. If I fold it outward and I cover up this 4 units, I'm going to have to make sure that I rewrite that 4 units. I could put it on this side where I have nothing and it's not going to be an issue at all. I now also have these lines that I can fold up. If you chose not to color these lines, that is fine as well. But you're going to want to fold those to make it work that way. I did not put another flappy guy on this guy to be able to glue down. That way, if I want to fold this down, I can just go ahead and fold it down, and I don't have to worry about crunching up my buildings or anything like that. So now I'm going to glue this on here. I'm going to go ahead and get my glue stick and glue on my flap, depending on which way you want to do it. I'm doing it so that the flap is on the outside of my building and lining up this line with this line when I put this down, making sure it's pressed down. Now I can fold it back outward, upward, and now I've got my first building. If I want to do a net version, I'm going to have to do the same similar thing of going, okay, what is my base? It is a 4 by 4, so I'm going to draw that 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4 from my height. Right, that's my height. This is my 4 units across of my initial building that I've got here, right? So this is my side going upwards. This is going to be my roof, another 4 by 4. In a cube format, you're going to have sides that go on this edge, right? In this building, you can see through my building, but if I were to make this net, I would need to have a side for that as well. So I'm going to go with another 4 by 4 because my height is 4 and my units across are 4, because I need this side, I also will additionally need this side. So I'm going to have to do a 4 by 4. Notice I did not plan out very well when I did this because I don't have a 4 full units. So when you do this, you got to make sure you are planning out. In my marker format, I can't erase. So you're going to want to make sure you are using a pencil format so that you can erase. But I'm just going to go ahead and continue so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I then am going to do my side back down. In this case, I am not going to require you to do your blocks that make it so that your floor is done, because your floor is already done, right? If you want to do your floor space, that is fine, and do an additional 6 things to make your cube, because a dice has 6 sides, so you're going to need 6 sides in total. It kind of looks like a cross or a T if you are thinking of it that way. When you do this, you're going to want flaps that you can cut out additionally so that you can make sure that your pieces fit together. So you're going to want to plan for those guys as well. If I were you, I would just put them on every little corner so that when you cut it out, you can cut them off if you don't need them. When I cut this guy out, I'm going to do my best to cut the best that I can so that when I fold it up, it matches up. Notice I am using almost an entire piece of paper, so if you are like, I don't want to use that much paper, you may want to go with this format instead. But reminder, to get a 4, you've got to go with the net format, because you have to have that advanced skill. Alright, now that I've got this cut out, I'm going to just fold along all of these edges that I have made with my black marker. As well as where I have those flaps. And again, I'm going to have to know what your measurements are, so in a way, you're going to have to find a place to put those things. So you could put in here, in this case it is building A and my height is 4, you're going to have to write building A on one of these sides and height equals 4. Additionally, if your guy is covering up these edges, you're going to have to make sure you rewrite those. In this case, it's probably not going to cover them up, so we will be fine. If that were going to cover them up, I would just write them 4 units here inside of your guy and 4 units here, so that you know and I know what your heights are. Now when you put this together, you're just going to put glue on all of these little flaps and glue them on the inside like so. We don't want it flapped on the outside because that kind of looks a little tacky, so we're going to put it on that inside so that we've got it to create our little cube. Notice I've got 2 flaps that match up here, so I'm just going to cut one of them off so I do not have to worry about 2 flaps, because that would be silly. Now when I put this together, I've got flaps on all of my little sections, would be able to glue it down. I would find the one that has all the information on it and put glue on this back side across from this one. So if this were a 6, this would be a 1 side. After I've got this all glued up, I then am going to put this down. Make sure you write this information down before you make your cube up, right? And when I put this down, I would put it in my initial cube spot. All right, now it is your turn. Go ahead and get started.